At Bitcoin Amsterdam, every 4 meters you walk, you have a fantastic person which you haven't seen forever. And here we have Tuur the meester, who's normally hanging out. He's a Belgian, but he's hanging out in Austin. And he's always been on the forefront to think about the influence of Bitcoin and crypto about the whole industry. Thank you for being in Amsterdam, Tuur.
Good to see you, yeah.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, we had a little bit of talk on the way, but you're in Amsterdam again and you're going to speak, I think tomorrow, right?
Today, actually.
Today.
Yeah, in about
and what are you going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about uncertainty and hope.
Okay, we have a lot of that, uncertainty and hope. So that's really interesting. So what are you doing? You are a very known person here in the Benelux and in the Bitcoin community, but you went to Austin. What are you doing in Austin at the moment?
So I am on the board of the Texas Bitcoin Foundation, and one of the main projects we're working on now is launching an academic paper, because there's a lot of writing that has happened and is still happening on the technical front, like people writing engineering papers and cryptography papers, and then also there's a lot of writing about the political implications of Bitcoin, but most of that writing is kind of unstructured, it's in blog posts, it's kind of like spread around, and so we want to help bring a little bit more discipline, and so we're launching, it was announced, it's called the Satoshi Papers, and so people can submit abstracts, and I'm on the editorial board. I help look and come up with suggestions to improve the papers.
Okay, so that's really good. We need the thinking, we need to centralize the thinking and make it more concise and that kind of stuff. What else are you doing?
What else am I doing? Actually, I took a little bit of a hiatus. I had a fund, and then that was wound down.
And what kind of fund?
So I did have a Bitcoin alpha fund. So the idea was that we would try and make a profit expressed in Bitcoin, and then we would only charge a fee based on that. Yeah. And I think it's still going to happen. I think Bitcoin is going to become a standard, and that also means that if you, as a business, make profits or losses, you're going to want to look at the Bitcoin denominated profits and losses. Yeah.
The last 4 years. 4 years ago, I interviewed you for the last time. We've been through a hype and then a winter. How do you analyze the situation at the moment?
Isn't the price at the same? Isn't the price the same?
Exactly. It's at 2017. It's an all-time high of 2017 plus a little bit. Yeah.
So Bitcoin is stagnating. Oh my God. Oh no. No. I don't think so at all. I think there's so much happening. I think the Lightning Network is really gotten a lot of mind share. Like people are really much more aware of it, and it's become useful, right? People are like, there's a lot of exchanges now that have Lightning on ramps, off ramps, and so it basically solves the whole problem of the fee market, and sometimes when Bitcoin is popular, fees are high. Like that's completely solved. I mean, not completely, but we have a maturing solution for that problem.
How far are we from Lightning to be actually useful for everybody here to use it?
I mean, I think a couple years probably, and I think there's probably past that, on the core engineering, maybe a couple of years, and then mostly the biggest issue is just UX. It's just for customers to feel like it's easy to use, and for education to happen more. But I think that it's great how the suite of Bitcoin is expanding, because a lot of the altcoins that came up over the years were trying to say like, well, Bitcoin is incomplete and it needs these things. We have a better Bitcoin. Yep. But now, and a lot of them were, for example, saying we need higher transaction speeds and things like that. Well, so now Bitcoin can do millions of transactions per second, so we don't need that entire category anymore. So in the same way, we have advances when it comes to Bitcoin privacy. We have advances when it comes to Bitcoin smart contracts. So Bitcoin really is maturing as a stack, and so I think it's going to be the backbone of the internet of money, really.
Lightning, I love. It's very useful. The smart contracts for Bitcoin, I don't see progressing that fast. I mean, if you compare it to Ethereum, what is the progression there?
Yeah, I mean, the progression is slow but steady, and I think that's really important. To me, it's always been like Bitcoin is the tortoise, and then other coins have been like the hare, like they've been running very fast, and they've been tripping over themselves. Like we've seen a lot of problems in the Ethereum ecosystem. They have a lot of issues with scaling, and things like that. And so, Bitcoin is only 13 years old. Like we're building something for the next generations, for our children, for our grandchildren. So there's no real rush. Like we can just try and do this right. And so, yeah, it's taken a while for the smart contracts to take shape. But I think we have some incredibly accomplished engineers that are working on it. So
you have trust in the ecosystem of Bitcoin development, that all these challenges they have now, speed of transaction, okay? You think that that will happen? The quality in the ecosystem is good enough?
Yeah, I do think that, and I also think that there is some misconceptions about what this technology can do in general. Like, for example, one of the challenges with smart contracts is the Oracle problem. This has been known for a long time, and it's basically that the blockchain environment is a kind of a pristine environment where there's these carefully calibrated incentives with mining and stuff. But then as soon as you want to create contracts that are having anything to do with the real world, you need information from the outside. You need an oracle.
Absolutely.
And that means you have to trust certain information from the so those are vulnerabilities that there's going to be trade-offs. So there's probably going to be some centralized companies that deal with that. And so I think that the word DeFi is a little bit misleading, like decentralized finance. As it is today, it's actually not very decentralized. And now we're seeing more political pressure. And so I think we're going to see some of these concepts and some of these coins break, under the pressure.
Okay. Let's talk quickly about a couple of subjects. The governance, the MiCA in Europe and the legislation in America. What do you think of the quality of the fiat system trying to impose on the fiat system, the crypto system?
Yeah, I mean, I think, wow, like speaking of the government.
Doesn't matter.
The black helicopters are here.
Yeah.
So when it comes to regulation, to me this was expected. Like there was going to be a crackdown or a backlash, and I see some parallels with, there was a big stock market crash in 1907 where banks teetered and then they went bankrupt, and then in response the Federal Reserve was founded 6 years later.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's going to be that kind of evolution, like a centralized Federal Reserves of Bitcoin or something like that. But I do think that this last crash of 2021, there is going to be political repercussions for that, and
they have. We have a good MiCA system now in Europe, and the quality of that seems to be pretty okay. You are in Austin. How's the American system of regulation?
I think it's still to be seen. I think basically, we already have some regulation, but now it looks like they want more for the custody, and they're trying to figure out when to do an ETF and based on what grounds. But I think basically what's happening is that the established financial elites don't really like that there is existing Bitcoin companies. I think they would rather have the big banks for them to adopt Bitcoin. And so I'm not really involved in that. I think either way, we are going to have access to Bitcoin. I think some of the more vulnerable guys are the coins that are more like securities. They are going to have potentially facing lawsuits and things like that.
Yeah, and that's not happening with Bitcoin. Okay, one of the energy problem, the 0.4% of the electricity which goes to Bitcoin mining.